watch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Brandon Lau shoots one deep down the right field line. Is that ball fair? That's a fair ball, and it is gone. First pitch, Brandon Lau with a 3-run shot right down the line. And the Rays just suddenly have tied this game.
And I will be expecting a nice little honorarium to my FSU Dublin trip fund from Mr. Brandon Lau, since I am clearly the reason why he has caught fire. As we all know, when I start ripping a Rays player and tell him to get him the hell out of town, they start playing well. I did it again, Peter. I did it again.
Yes.
I'm taking. Good morning to you. Good morning to all of you on this hump day. Yeah, baby. As we got a great show for you. 2 hours of all local stuff here. Some national stuff we're going to get to as well. We can't ignore the Caitlin Clark stuff that continues to go on here. The shenanigans that's going on in the WNBA. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The NBA Finals, of course, get started tomorrow. But mostly we'll be zeroing in on the Rays and your Buccaneers. I was out at OTAs yesterday, Peter Blake. It was a beautiful day to be out in Tampa Bay. Good to see the boys out there practicing.
Absolutely. I know you were out there. I saw the little reel of Baker Mayfield talking to the media, of course.
Yeah.
Once again, being ruled out, being the underdog. I think that's to the advantage of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good morning to you. Lots of great stuff to talk about. And one of our old friends here, Mr. Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated. Who's that guy? That's the guy who got confronted by Jason Light with the 2-win prediction last year.
Mm-hmm.
Has come out with a prediction this year.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what this is.
Oh, you got to love this. I hope Jason Light has his receipts ready. Good morning to you. Happy hump day.
Well, all right, so I got to know right away. So is he trying to, play nice now? Is he trying to curry some favor with Jason that he was now confronted? No, he's going back to the well?
He'll never learn. He will never learn.
What's he got now?
Do you want to hear the clip really quick?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Here's Connor Orr and his prediction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2024 here live on the JP Peterson Show.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers finished in first place last year, and and I picked them to win 2 games. They won 7 more than that, and the general manager of the team sought me out publicly to let me know that I was incorrect.
You can do it again.
Don't be dumb.
Saints first. I'm picking the Falcons second.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Buccaneers third. And I'm picking the Panthers fourth. I'm sorry.
Can I tell?
What
I love it.
You're getting confronted by Jason Light in the offseason at the Combine for picking the Bucs to win 2, and you're picking them third place with the friggin' Saints winning the division with that broken down car as the quarterback.
The whole team's a broken down car.
I mean, they are.
You gotta love the national nitwits, bro. You gotta love the national nitwits, the national nonsense. It's outstanding, and that's why I asked Baker that. And you could see it in the video that I did. As my follow-up question didn't quite get, it was kind of drowned out by some other reporters who like to jump in right after I ask a question every time.
What's that all about, by the way?
Yeah, whatever. And I said, as he gave me his answer about, we'll hear it a little bit later on about how they love the underdog role. And I said, you like that? He looked over me and he smirked. He went, yeah, we like that. We like that. This is just part of the whole thing, man. This is setting up to be a perfect storm for the Buccaneers. And I know I feel I feel a little nervous, when I say these things. But last year we said, 8, 9, 10. Like, what did I think I predicted last year? 9 wins, 9, 10 wins last year. So we actually got the 9 in the regular season, 10 in the postseason. Right. So we were bullish on the Bucs, both you and I. Mm-hmm. They got the job done. I made a little money in Vegas on them winning the division and going over 6.5 last year. I would highly recommend you to do that same thing this year. It would be odd that they would do it 2 years in a row, but I think they can. I mean, you can't handicap injuries. So if they get the injuries, then, all bets are off. But if this team stays relatively healthy, their quarterback stays healthy, then I think this is definitely a 10-win team, closer to 11 than they are 7.
Okay.
I think they have an opportunity to have a really, really good season. We'll see how it all kind of perks out, but we'll get to that in just a little bit because let me set up the show here real quick. So
Sure.
Scott Reynolds is going to join us at 10:30, and he'll talk about his observations out at OTAs. We'll get into some of the big contracts that are being signed across the NFL. Justin Jefferson's contract. McCaffrey gets an extension now. Running backs are starting to get paid again.
Wow. Imagine that, huh?
Very interesting, I think. So we'll get into that with Scott Reynolds. Jane Geddes is going to join us at 11:15 and talk some golf with her and also some Caitlin Clark. Obviously, Jane being a world champion golfer, female athlete, big advocate for female athletes, has some very interesting things to say about the Caitlin Clark situation. We taped that interview a couple days ago, so we'll bring it to you. I think some very interesting insights from somebody who's been in the arena and faced a lot of the same situations that Caitlin Clark is going through and has seen that and the way it has happened. So we'll get her on at 11:15. Lou Maggio is going to join us from the Tampa Sports Club. We got a big event coming up tonight. Really excited about this. I'm honored to MC tonight's Hall of Fame inductions, and it's going to be a really, really special night as Bruce Arians will be there, and he's going in. Titus O'Neil is going in. Betty Castor is our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Steve Spurrier, the old ball coach, will be there tonight.
Wow.
Erin Andrews, unfortunately, could not make it, but she will be inducted in tonight, and Gail Sarens will be accepting for hers. Bobby Diaz from Chamberlain softball will be going in as well, and Charlie Bradley from USF. So it's going to be a magical night. We're really looking forward to it, so we'll preview that a little bit with Lou Maggio at the end of the show. But in between that, we got lots of stuff to get to, and we started it off with a bang with Brandon Lau and the Rays last night. I'm not going to say this is a huge win. The Marlins are awful. They're terrible. They're worse than the Rays. The Marlins jump out to a 3-0 lead last night. Pepia was not sharp early on, gave up 3 runs in the first, but then he was freaking locked down.
Yep.
Just mowed him down for the next 5 innings. Very efficient, 8 strikeouts, really, really good. And he's been outstanding on the road. Of the 18 innings he's thrown on the road, he's only given up runs in 1 inning, and that was last night's little outburst. So it was actually meaningless as far as the game goes because they came back and won 9-5. Brandon Lau with the 3-run homer, which you heard, and also a 2-run double. Randy Arozarena gets on 5 times, got hit a couple times, one pretty scary towards the head. Now, late in the game, they have the 4-run lead, and Matone comes on and gives up 3 straight hits and loads the bases with nobody out. And now you got to get Fairbanks up. So he has to get up, and he came in and shut the door, didn't allow a single run. But that was irresponsible. Phil, I don't even know what to call him. I call him awful. He's just been awful.
Inefficient. Call him whatever you want to, because the call should be made that this guy has been disappointing. That's for sure. It's been disappointing.
At the very least.
Yeah. I mean, his stuff is not good. It's flattened out. You go back to Pepio, 3-0 on the road, 36 pitch first inning there, and then he's able to overcome it. Much like in the announcers were doing this last night, they were making comparisons to another Bulldog and James Shields. If he's anything like James Shields, you got yourself a hell of a pitcher there. But he definitely pounded the strike zone last night. In fact, 6 of his 8 strikeouts were with the fastball.
Yeah, he was really, really sharp, and we needed him to be. He's effectively replacing Glass now in the rotation and has done a hell of a job. It's Salad, very similar to Glass now. So the great hair and the pitching that comes along with it. Yeah. So you get 2 for 1 right there. And he's been really, really good. Now, Johnny DeLuca, on the other hand, has been really bad. 0 for 25 slump Johnny DeLuca is in. Whoa. 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 That's Alex Jackson-esque.
Is it as bad as Alex Jackson? I mean, it's probably not.
Not quite. No, at least he had some hits early in the season. But man, is he just absolutely turned ice cold.
Yeah.
So I know everybody was so excited about the trade early on because DeLuca was carrying this team, but and it's over 25 is not going to last either. So let's hope it's a little somewhere in between and we can get something out of him. But it's a good win. It's a great win. I was getting a little nervous last night when that whole shenanigans in the ninth inning was going down. I'm like, oh my God, if they blow this game, this is going to be not good. So now within a game of 500. You got another game with the Marlins today, then an off day, and then the O's come in this weekend, and they're really good. They're really, really good.
They are really good, but I tell you what is not very good about the O's right now. Their bullpen, and they have lots of pitchers out, a couple pitchers out their starting rotation that are hurt. And look, the Blue Jays last night, they weren't able to compete with the Orioles. At least the Rays made it close. The thing that you're going to have to continue to watch is when a guy like a Brandon Lau, which, by the way, let's go back to that 2-run double last night.
And here's Brandon Lau, and he shoots one into right center field. That ball's got great carry. Going to be off the wall. Ramirez will score. They're going to wave Paredes to the plate. He will score. It's a double for Brandon Lau, who drives in 2 more runs.
And he just missed it by an eyelash there of having another 3-run home run, 5 RBIs. And all the criticism that Rays fans have for Kevin Cash, how about giving him some credit to bat Lau as a left-hander, the only left-hander versus another left-hander, and it paid off big-time dividends. So, but it's going to come down to Lau. It's going to come down to Rosarena at the top of that lineup. And then it's also going to come down to Jose Siri, who, by the way, has also been hot lately.
And a shot toward the gap, up the alley into left center. Rosario's going to score. Siri into second with the double, and the Rays grab the lead.
That's the big-time key. And then when you get those high-leverage situations when it comes to the bullpen, you've got to shut it down. And, look, Fairbanks did a great job last night, but should not be in that situation at all. And once again, the Rays had some errors last night, and they also had some base-running blunders. So if you're going to beat a upper echelon team like the Baltimore Orioles in your division, you have to clean some of that stuff up. You may be able to get away with that against the A's and, of course, the Marlins, who are completely terrible with their 40th loss last night. You're not going to be able to do that versus the O's, and it showed last series.
And I think this is a very important comment right here. If the Marlins had a new ballpark, they could afford better players and better attendance. Says Rick.
Well,
tongue in cheek.
Right. They've scaled that whole thing down, right? I mean, remember, they got the 2 World Series championships. They got a new ballpark. And then the next year later, they got rid of their best player and Giancarlo Stanton. They also moved in the fences. And this is how cheap they are. They took out the Clevelander. Remember the Clevelander?
I know.
They took that out of it.
What are we doing?
Out of there?
The best part of the ballpark.
I mean,
the point being is, you Rays fans are being sold that this new ballpark is going to give them new revenues, so they'll be able to compete with the teams in their divisions and will spend more money. No, is the point. Did that work for the Marlins? No. We're doing the same. This deal is the same exact horrific mistake that the St. Pete deal that the Marlins made as well. And that's putting it in a terrible location just for politics, because the Miami people didn't want to, quote, lose the Marlins. So instead of doing it the right way and putting it in the middle of the market in Broward County in a nicer neighborhood that's more accessible, they put it there. They completely overspend and leverage it to the hilt like they are in this deal. It's not $1.3 billion. It's $2.4 billion cost to taxpayers. That's the correct term, even though they refused to write that in the Times. The correct number with interest is $2.4 billion, and the cost in real estate taxes, etc. You can see it on nohomerun.com. It's all broken down there. So same exact thing they did in Miami. Owner skips town, takes the money, the inflated value of the team, gets out of town, leaves the Marlins with a terribly located stadium. They still don't have the revenue to compete, and they'll be paying that thing off until 2090. So and we're about to make the same exact mistake. Good for them.
At least I could say to their credit, they have 2 World Series championships. So one of those in 97.
They won both of those before they moved into the new park.
Right.
You know?
I mean, can you imagine if the Rays, I don't know, they go all in one of these years, if they didn't let all that talent go? I know. Hindsight is 2020. I know. It's okay to win a division once in a while. I know it's okay to win that wild card banner. Who doesn't want to put up another wild card banner at Tropicana? Who doesn't want that?
Come on, man.
I mean, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's settle for that. Can you imagine if the Bucks just put up a wild card banner every year? How many fans would get upset?
Well, I think but at least it's a little bit harder to make the playoffs in the NFL than it is baseball now with the extra wild cards. But whatever. Right. Hey, listen, I think with the Rays winning in the regular season with what they spend is amazing. You know, what Kevin Cash has been able to do, what this front office has been able to do on such a limited budget is one of the best stories in baseball and has been for a long, long time. But the fact is they shouldn't have to. And that's the other thing. You're getting sold this narrative that they're going to spend more money. Where's the evidence that that's going to happen? They've had plenty of money to spend for years and years and years. They've made tremendous profits off this team because they pay next to nothing for the stadium. They get tons of revenue sharing and general fund money from Major League Baseball. They're making tons of money and have been for a long time, and they don't put it back into the team. So who's to say they're going to do that if they have more revenues in this new park?
Right.
Where's the evidence? The evidence doesn't suggest. The evidence absolutely proves that they won't. So, but whatever. Here's all good. If anybody wants to buy into it, they want to build it. It's all good, bro. Ain't my money.
Yeah, the
Pirates, ain't my money.
Pirates, great example. New ballpark. How many years have they been competitive? How many years have they spent money? I mean, enough of the nonsense. Either you want to spend money or you don't.
Right.
And of course,
you have either leadership that wants to win or they don't. Whatever. It's all good. We want to hear from Kevin Cash.
Yeah, let's do that.
Best manager in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with that move last night with Lau. Here we go.
Right. Just a lot of strike throwing, executed pitches really well. That was no margin for error. They got something going pretty quick off Phil, but Pete came in, quieted him down. Big pitches, to De La Cruz, the first batter, and then grinded through Berger, and then got Bell to kind of roll over that pitch and made a nice play on. Big night. He went up there. I think he swung at 3 sliders from Luzardo. His first at bat, made an adjustment, got a slider for the big 3-run homer, and then I think he got a changeup for the double off the wall. But if he's seeing the ball well, we know what he's capable of. And tonight he certainly did. Him, Isak, we had a bunch of guys. Yandy, Randy had big at-bats. Siri came up with a big hit. So a lot of guys contributed in a big way. I don't know if he adjusted. I think that's the best outing he's had as a Ray. For him to fall behind like that, hits come. They normally don't come in bunches like that, but they did. And he kept his composure, kept, his game plan, and just got super efficient really quick. We were maybe 2 batters away from having to take him out of that inning. And then we're jammed up pretty big, but really, really impressed by his efforts to get 6 innings. I think we got the ball up a little bit more on him. He's tough. He's got pretty electric stuff, but he left some balls over the plate that seemed like we were ready to hit. Bilal, the approach that he had, he adjusted, got off the fastball, it looked like was ready for the slider. And that was probably the biggest hit of the game to get us back in it. Playing really well, swinging the bat really, really well. Encouraged by what Josie's doing. You see the type of player he can be on both sides of the ball when he's locked in. I can't recall, the last time that we got a separated game like that. I actually thought Sterner threw the ball really, really well. A bunch of infield hits and an error mixed in there to give up his run, but he really did a nice job. Only that was a pretty scary moment, but going back and look on the iPad, hit the bill of his hat. I thought it squared him up, but it got the bill of his hat, so he was fine. But anytime a guy gets hit with mid-90s fastball, it's pretty scary, but I'm really happy that he's okay.
Yeah, in a scary moment last night with the Rosarena, who gets hit and starts running down the first base line like, I'm okay. I'm not coming out of the game. So, listen, he had 1 hit last night. He gets on 4 times, 2 walks. He's more selective. That's a good thing going forward. At least he didn't have a strikeout. At least he didn't have groundouts. Who knows? Maybe this is something. And we continue to say, this Rays team with all the offensive players they have, and they do have some talent still. We know that, Brandon Lau, the dog, is streaky. But when he gets on that streak, when he starts hitting the ball out of the ballpark, which once again, he missed a 3-run home run by just an eyelash there, 2 3-run home runs. You just never know. You just never know. And if they can continue to put some wins together here, who knows? Maybe we're talking about this team in a positive light than instead of what we've been talking about them all year long, which has been very negative.
Yeah. I just got this from my buddies at nohomerun.com.
Yeah.
They're holding a news conference on the steps of the courthouse on Thursday to release the results of a professionally taken Mason and Dixon polling and strategy poll, utilizing the highest professional industry standards, a telephone poll of St. Pete voters on what they think of the proposed deal in St. Pete. So 11 o'clock, they will be doing this press conference. And I can tell you right away,
wow,
without fail, that there will be, let's make a guess. What do you want to guess the poll reveals?
Oh, the poll reveals that everybody is on board with building.
What percentage you got? What are you going?
It's probably 99%. Probably 99%.
Against?
No. 4.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
No, I will bet you. I'll bet you 6-pack that it's at least 65% against.
Oh yeah,
and I would say probably closer to 75% against.
Right.
Because this is a real poll, Mason-Dixon poll.
It's a real poll. It's not Mason-Dixon from
No, this is a real poll, which should have been done a long time ago by some deeper pocket journalistic entities, but has not been. It took nohomerun.com to do this and pay for it, I'm sure, to get it done. The city didn't do it. The city wouldn't even take a straw poll. The city commission said, no, we don't want to take a straw poll in one of the elections, non-binding straw poll, just to see where the electorate is at. They didn't even want that because they knew that it would show overwhelmingly that the people of St. Petersburg are against this. But yet we go forward.
Yep.
$2.4 billion in public expenditures. So, but whatever. Good on you.
I say 70% against.
Yeah. That's
I would say I would definitely say that, and I don't think it's going to be a surprise because a lot of people at the end of the day, there's much.
It'll be a surprise to a lot of people.
Oh,
especially in local media.
Well, of course. I mean,
it might not be a surprise, but
the whole narrative is that everybody wants this new stadium, and instead you look at, like teams around Major League Baseball. What's the difference, or what's the difference in any professional league? Well, the reason why they're getting a new stadium is because the owners are paying for most of it or the majority of it, or they're coming halfway. And with this deal, we know that that's not necessarily the case.
Well, the Rays, are paying for half of the stadium construction as it is work now, and they're there to pay the cost overruns. But they're not paying for the other development parts that they're enjoying will enjoy lavish profits from, including infrastructure deals that typically in deals like this, the developer pays for infrastructure, not the city, because the developer's getting was going to make the humongous profits on building condos and retail and everything else. So that's where the money is in the deal for the Rays. So in a sense, that profit that they make off the development part of it will more than pay for their side of the stadium. And so, in essence, they're getting a free stadium. In essence, at least in my opinion, the public is paying for the entire cost of the stadium because they're getting this other land at such a humongous discount that the city could use to actually make money instead of losing money on this whole deal. If they went with the Kreisman Midtown plan that he had proposed without a stadium, they would make billions instead of spending billions. So
right.
The cost effectiveness there is such a huge disparity, all to keep a baseball team that really delivers not a whole lot of economic impact in the long run to the city. But again, ain't my money. And
that's it.
I'll enjoy going to the new ballpark and the Rays staying, but it's not going to help them in the long run. But that's fine.
I don't know where the parking's at. I don't know where they have all these designs of how great it looks. Great inside, looks great outside.
Good luck with that.
But is there any parking? Is there any plan at this point?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get to let's get to a team that is definitely competitive and will have a great chance, I think, in the next few years of perhaps winning another championship in Super Bowl, and that's your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield talked to the media yesterday. Had a nice chat with him. I tell you what, he seems so at ease. He seems so comfortable. He's got the new deal. He's loving this new offense, which we'll go into more with Scott Reynolds. Just awesome stuff. Let's roll yesterday's media availability with the great Baker, the touchdown maker, Mayfield.
Long time no see, everybody. Good. How are you guys? I know. Thank you. It's good. Yeah, she's 8 weeks today, so been good. Yeah, up and down. Sleep's it's a learning curve. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of, obviously continuing the chemistry that we've had with some of the skill guys from last year, carrying that over, and then just offensively, scheme-wise, getting everybody on the same page. It's really awesome that we have everybody here on offense and just going through that. So everybody's hearing it. We're all talking about it, learning from good and bad plays, and that's what this time period's about. You can't win or lose ball games right now. You can only just try and get better. And so, just trying to get to know the younger guys. But we've got a lot of guys that have promise, and so that's what you really want to see. You want to see them busting their tails, working, and trying to learn it, because you really want to stress the mental aspect of the game right now. To try and learn as much as you can, to where when it comes to live bullets and during training camp, it's second nature. So, and that's why I like the way Liam's installed the offense as well. Puts a lot on you mentally in the front, and just it is a little mentally taxing, but it's good in the long run.
What do you like about that?
It presents so many different issues for a defense when it comes to their rules. Obviously a lot of shifts, a lot of motions, things like that. It makes them think about their rules and have to react on the fly. So for us, like I said, it's a lot of learning that part, because if we're not doing our job, it doesn't matter what the defense is thinking. So start there, but it presents different issues for them that they have to conquer.
Speaking of young guys, a couple of weapons on offense in the draft. Just talk about Jalen McMillan and Bucky Irving. What you think of both of those guys?
Jalen's got such a natural feel as a receiver. He's extremely smooth. One of those guys that doesn't look like he's really covering a lot of ground because it looks effortless, but he really is. He's a guy that can run every route you have in your route tree. And so really strong hands at the point of attack. He always attacks the ball when it's in the air, which is great to see for a young guy. Just have that natural tendency. And then Bucky, obviously it's a little hard in the run game stuff right now with no pads on. But the one thing I'll say about him, obviously he's got good hands, but when he decides to cut it upfield and get north and south, he goes. He decides and he hits it. So that's good to see.
It's a similar scheme to what you guys ran last year. Obviously, you have familiarity from your time at the Rams, but how much different is it from a quarterback standpoint? Your responsibility.
How different is the offensive scheme?
There's a lot more responsibility. Line of scrimmage, a lot more double play calls where you're having to get the guys in the right position. But as a quarterback, you want to have that responsibility, the accountability of, you always want to put your guys in the best position to have success. And so now Liam's giving us the opportunity with a couple play calls to be able to do that. And so, like I said, more mentally taxing, but just relearning the system and not taking it with the mindset of I've been in it before, but really starting from square one.
Love the options that they have in this offense. What can you improve personally?
You try and improve everything, but for me right now, slowing my feet down a little bit. I have always kind of had constantly moving feet like some of the QBs do, but just slowing it down to where I'm not passing up progressions. It's smooth through that process, and just going through it, being decisive with the ball and getting everybody on the same page, I think is the most important thing.
I love that. Decisive and footwork. You got to love that.
Yeah. It's about Godwin moving back to the slot.
Obviously, Chris has had a ton of success in the slot. This offense is one, though, that we're going to move everybody around, but this one really gives Chris a chance to, the stuff that he's really, really good at, he's going to be doing a lot of. So he's more comfortable in it, and you can just tell body language-wise, talking to him about it, he loves it so far. And, right now we're just going through it together, but it's good to see him back where he's best.
question about Tristan Wirfs, him not being in a camp, and if there's, and also that Baker went through obviously a negotiation last year before his contract got signed. What's that like? What's the mindset like?
What you hear is that he's going to show up for
our situations are different because he is, playing under the 5th-year option. So there's a difference there where it was free agency with mine. But it's, when it comes down to Tristan, everybody knows he's a team guy. At a certain point, does he deserve to be paid? Absolutely. Guy's a stud. And so he took the transition from right to left with ease, did it better than I think he thought he was going to. But yeah, you just trust in that process. And I know he's probably more eager to get back here and get the deal done than anybody else, but it gives other guys a great opportunity to come in and get reps as well. So to have that communication and, Tristan's still around. We're not holding out on the friendship, even though he's holding out on us.
Tongue in cheek. Oh, there's bad blood now. No, there's not.
No.
Everybody knows he's going to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we proved to ourselves last year what we really believed in, what we knew we were capable of. Obviously fell short of the ultimate goal. Only one team gets to have that. But when you get that close, it almost makes you more hungry. When you're just a few plays away on the road in a tough environment, knowing that it came down to a 2-minute drive, it's great to see that people haven't forgotten that we're just as hungry to get back out of here and get to work. It's still early June, but the guys are putting the work in right now to be on the same page to when we hit the ground running in August or late July that we're ready to go.
And then Baker is some of the skill players who've got a big beefy lineman in the draft to help protect you as well. You've been taking snaps.
Yeah. Talking about Graham Barton.
What have you seen from his game? What's impressed you, and how do you think he'll fit into this offense?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, playing center in the NFL is not easy. There's just so many different looks, fronts, blitzes, and just the communication. It's a whole different ball game. So I think he's handled it really well. Now the physical aspects of Graham, he's a stud. He can move people off the ball. He's quick. Just the way he gets his feet up under him, how he leverages blocks and understands what we're trying to get done. Really, that's really special. So, I think for him, he's got all the physical tools that he needs. That's why he got drafted that high. But it's taking time to learn it, get the reps, because it's just going to take time for him. And luckily he'll be surrounded by good people though, and get to learn from some greats as well.
You're all the projections right here preseason, right where you want them. Everybody's discounting the Bucks. You guys are 7.5. I think.
That's you right there. Good
That's
stuff.
me asking about everybody discounting the Bucks, 7.5 in Vegas.
It doesn't
How do you
matter.
feel about that?
It's pretty much right where they had us last year. Like I said, nobody's played it down yet. We're all working for the same goal, but mentality-wise, this team, we're hungry. We're back at it. At this point, it's pretty much expected for people to, underestimate the Bucks, but we just put our heads down and work.
This time last year, you were fighting for a job. Now you've got that long-term deal. You actually
All right, that's Baker Mayfield. We'll get back to the rest of that in a little bit. Of course, we are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Scott Jeeves, great guy. You heard him on the show last week talking about the different lawsuits in sports. He will represent you vigorously in whatever you need him to. Class action lawsuits. If you got a problem with a builder, you got a problem with an insurance company, anything like that, you get in an accident, have the Jeeves Law Group represent you. And when you do, when they send a letter, people listen. So if you have any issues, get your free consultation at jeeveslawgroup.com. Give them a call, email them. They'll be happy to chat with you. Please tell them you heard it on the JP Peterson show. And of course, we are presented by Hydrate Heroes each and every day. You can get a free 3-pack trial of Hydrate Heroes. Just go to tryhydrateheroes.com. Put your information in there. Go ahead and buy a 30-pack for $29.99 and get the great benefits of the amla fruit, the mushroom blend, all the electrolytes, and just 5 calories, and it tastes fantastic. Stop drinking those 200-calorie hydration drinks or energy drinks when you can do it for 5 calories. Tastes great and get a lot more benefit. HydrateHeroes.com. Tryhydrateheroes.com will get you your free sample. All right, let's welcome in the man with the greatest hair in the business. He is the great Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Good. How are you? Doing good.
Outstanding. I finally got out to a Bucks OTA yesterday.
I was not there.
I know you were not there, but you were at a lot of the other ones.
Yes. My daughter Jillian graduated from high school yesterday. Sound like high school?
Whoa! Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Nice.
I remember when she was just a baby. Just
Mhm.
a baby.
Yep.
They grow up so fast.
They do, man. They do.
Golly,
About to be an empty nester.
how's that feel?
Great. Great. I mean, it's great because it's not just about Ashley and I, and having, more time, and you can kind of take a little bit of a sigh of relief a little bit. It's having gone to college myself, and and then after that into the workforce, into your career. You reflect on that, and it's about finding your passion. It's about the great thing about college, I think, is it's like you're growing up, you're leaving the nest, you're learning how to be an adult for the first time with about 20,000 other people going through the same thing. So it's a great kind of community feeling. I think college is I think it's as much about what happens outside the classroom as it is the education you get, because it's a great experience to kind of learn how to grow up and be an adult and be on your own, and time management and all those good things.
Well said. Well said. I don't know how much they learn at those places anymore, but I don't know how much I learned, but that's the part of it. It's becoming an adult and learning all those other things that is so important. So, good luck to her, and good luck to all those graduates out there, and hope all the robots don't have the jobs when you graduate.
Right.
But we'll see.
Exactly.
The AI bots will be doing everything.
Humanity rules.
Yes. Well, yesterday Baker met the media. I'm sure you saw the interview. We just played a bit of it there. And it struck me how, last year he was confident, and I think he was comfortable, but there's a different level to that this year for him. And I think, that's what's come with, being in you remember your first day on the job, whatever it was, man, you were nervous. You didn't know where the hell to go. And it was hard to think straight.
Yeah.
And it's hard to perform at your optimum level when you're still getting to know everybody in an offense.
Right.
Now, obviously he's learning a new offense, but it's the other stuff that's way more important, right? It's the chemistry. It's the timing with the receivers. You've done that now. You know them. You know how you work together as a team. And I see a really, really confident guy. I mean, he went to the Pro Bowl last year.
Right.
I think he's going to be better this year. What are your thoughts?
Too. No, I do too. I think this offense suits him exceptionally well. And I think maybe the unwritten or unspoken thing about this team is historically, and I know that, what Vinny Testaverde did has no bearing on today's Buccaneers. What Josh Freeman and Trent Dilfer did have no bearing on today's Buccaneers. What Jameis Winston did have no bearing on today's Buccaneers, except for the fact that the only time this franchise has really ever won outside of Doug Williams back in the 70s, talking about 79 season, was with the veteran quarterback, right?
Yeah.
It's Brad Johnson in 2002. It's Brian Greasy,
Jeff Garcia,
Tom Brady. For whatever reason, this franchise, through all the general managers, and as great as Jason Light has been, they've not found that franchise quarterback through the draft. But what they have found is they've found success with veteran free agent quarterbacks coming in. And
well, they did draft a Hall of Famer. Let's not.
Well, yeah, but Steve Young played for,
Oops. And they did draft Bo Jackson, but issues. There were issues.
Didn't play it down for Bucko Bruce. He went to the other Pirates, the Raiders. But yeah, he's a veteran, right? This is not a rookie quarterback, or a second or third year guy still learning how to play the game. He's been there and done that. He's had playoff success. He's been with this team. He's entering year 2 with the C on his chest, and he made inroads to become that leader for the very first time in OTAs last year, when he started doing calisthenics and warm-ups with the defensive linemen, right? Ingratiating himself. He didn't want to just be the leader on offense. He wanted to be the leader of the team. And that quickly happened. But then it's like, all right, well, show us what you got, right? Week 1, boom, come from behind win on the road against Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. And that kind of set the tone. Yeah. And you've seen like the maturation of Baker Mayfield as a leader, as the field general for this team. I mean, there was a time early on in his tenure with the Buccaneers, his brief tenure, where I didn't think he was a playmaker. I didn't know that he had it in him to really be the playmaker that this team needed to go toe-to-toe with the Jalen Hurtses and the Jared Goffs and the quarterbacks in the NFC that had some success. And boom, there comes that Green Bay Packers game, right? We're perfect quarterback rating. It shows you what he's capable of. And yeah, he had some plunkers in there. He had a couple of back-to-back games of 48% completion percentage in a win against the Panthers and a come-from-behind win against the Falcons. They kind of show you that even when he's not having the day,
or he's injured.
Yeah, that he can totally do that. He can be that guy that has the ability to rally this team to make those plays at the last minute. And
that's a special talent, man.
Yeah. Then he goes out there and wins that playoff game at home. There's just been enough instances, I think, where everybody in this team believes in him, most importantly his teammates. And that's huge, heading into year 2 in Tampa Bay.
Speaking of somebody who had a great game versus the Packers, Chris Godwin, not necessarily a focal point of that offense last year, only 2 touchdowns, now going back to the slot. Scott, how do you think this situation is going to play out for him?
Yeah, I mean, Jason Light has been a very patient general manager. The only time he's really done kind of a proactive contract extension was Vita Vea, where they picked up his 5th-year option, and which would have been the 2022 season, but instead they signed him to a contract extension in December of 2021, right before Christmas, kind of surprised everybody, right? Otherwise, he's been kind of a wait and see guy. You've seen that in the 1-year prove it deals with Baker Mayfield and Shaq Barrett. They even franchised Shaq Barrett, right, to make him prove that he could be, a high performing pass rusher and sack guy again. And you've seen that by making Mike Evans wait and play out his contract year, and Devin White with the 5th-year option, and Winfield in a contract year last year. So I think the patience has kind of paid off a little bit. Sometimes it's cost the Buccaneers a little bit more. You look at that Winfield contract for sure, but at the same time, you're gonna know what you're gonna pay for, right? Mike Evans in year 30 balled out and showed everybody that, hey, I'm still an elite wide receiver in this league. And I think that served both Mike and the team well, right? And I think the same thing's going to happen with Chris Godwin. He's back in the slot. We had Jason Light on our podcast, and he's very excited to see Chris back in the slot.
Yep.
And these are good problems to have when you have players in contract years that are balling out, putting up massive numbers, helping your team win, get to the postseason, do some damage there. That's a good thing, right? That's where you want to pay players. You want them to force you to pay them. And I'll say this about Godwin. He has a unique skill set, a unique ability in the slot to just find those open holes and zones. It's a great feel that he has. And you look at the matchups. Can Chris Godwin win outside one-on-one in year 28? Not the way he used to. But, man, you put him in the slot against a nickel corner, against a linebacker, against the safety that's been walked down in the box. And that's mismatches galore that favor Godwin. And so I think you're going to see the touchdown production go up a little bit this year for Godwin. That's what the team wants to see. It's gone from 9 touchdowns in 2019 to 7 to 5 to 3 to 2. I think you can pencil him in for 5 touchdowns this year, and that's a nice little boost. Mike Evans is 6'5". He's going to be the touchdown producer that your 6-foot quarterback's going to find.
Of course. And if you go back and look at some tape from last year, which of course we all watch on this show, there are many instances where Chris was open for touchdowns.
Yep.
And Baker said, well, he's open too, the big guy over here.
Right.
So, so it's sometimes it just works out that way.
Yeah.
It's not like Chris can't get open, is not getting open, or is not, it's just,
he's just
sometimes there's a better option
in the slot more often than he did outside.
I agree.
And I think Baker's going to see that. He's seeing it now in OTAs. He's going to see it more in training camp. He's going to see it more in the preseason. And you're going to see Chris Godwin have a 4th straight season of 1,000 yards, barring injury. And it's so easy. And I've even kind of been guilty of it too a little bit. It's like you look at this on paper like you're playing franchise mode in Madden, right?
Right.
And you're like, okay, Chris Godwin will be 29 next year. We just drafted Jalen McMillan. He is much cheaper, right? And it's kind of a robotic type of thing. When you're looking at it on paper, it makes sense. Move on from Chris Godwin, elevate Jalen McMillan. Trey Palmer is, wide receiver 3 now, where you've got McMillan at number 2, or maybe it's vice versa. Then Chris Godwin comes to the podium like he did 2 weeks ago. And he talks about being out there every day, and no knock towards Mike Evans, but that's not Mike's bag. Mike works out on his own and comes in OTAs every once in a while.
Mike was there yesterday.
Chris Godwin's always there every single day, helping the young guys, helping guys that he knows are in line to possibly replace him and cost him his job. And it doesn't matter. He is the ultimate team guy, just like Evans. It is one thing to have one really selfless, non-diva wide receiver on your team. It's a 1,000-yard guy. It is a rarity that happens on the same team with two guys. And that's just how it is with Mike and Chris. And kudos to Jason Light. He's drafted not just the best wide receiver in franchise history, but the second best wide receiver in franchise history. I think Godwin's in for a big year. And I think that they're inclined to look at the totality of Chris Godwin and say, if you can do it this year at age 28, how about a 2-year extension for 29 and age 30? And then we'll reevaluate that. And I think that he's going to do it again, barring injury.
Come back player of the year. Mark it. Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to tell out at OTAs because they have a line of people in front of you that you can't see what's happening for a reason. But I'm pretty sure I saw Chris catch a couple of inside slants for touchdowns yesterday. And he's so quick in his route running inside. And of course, I don't think there's a better combat catcher that I've seen in this league. I mean, some guys get bothered by hands and bodies all over him. Chris does not. He just focuses in, snatches the ball aggressively, and wins constantly. And and by the way, that Mike Evans contract looks really good after what Justin Jefferson just got. And I know Justin Jefferson is on his second contract. He's younger, all that stuff, but holy shiz. Now, does that affect the Godwin contract? And I'm with you. I don't think so, because it's more like younger receivers are coming in now. There's going to be some elite guys like Justin and AJ Brown, and that are they hit the sweet spot. The teams have cap room, and you're seeing a lot of teams now pay 2 wide receivers big money.
With Tyreek Hill and Jaden Waddle. But the problem is now is Tyreek Hill's like, oh, wait a minute, I want more money now, right? And,
he's got a lot of mouths to feed, bro.
Yeah, he does. He did well said point. But you're not going to see that with Mike and Chris.
Exactly.
They know that at age going to be 31 respectively for Mike and going to be 29 next February before free agency for Chris Godwin. They know that age is not on their side, and they don't have the leg to stand on to be the highest paid wide receiver or the top 5 or whatever. And I think that's okay. They're also team-oriented guys. I'm telling you, it's like the Tom Brady effect is real.
It's
real for 2 reasons. Number one, Tom Brady, and you may not know this, Bucs fans, but it's true. Tom Brady has never, ever been the highest paid quarterback in the league, ever, in any season, ever. And that's by design, because he wanted he could have been easy, like multiple times, with all the MVPs he won, the Super Bowls he won, Super Bowl MVPs.
You think if he got down to it on a holdout and held their feet to the fire, that the Patriots wouldn't have paid whatever he asked?
Robert Kraft would just give him a blank check and say, "You fill it." Of course,
but he's smarter than that.
He knows the concept of team, and it's not like Evans and Godwin didn't have that type of intrinsic quality too before Brady got here, because they did, but it just that reinforced it, right? And as great as Chris Godwin is, and as superstar as Mike Evans is, Brady's an icon, right? And it's like when you see TB12 perform and act that way, of like, I'll take a $25 million contract, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll take another $25 million. Like, he didn't even get a raise while he was here, right? And yes, he's got the endorsement deals, and he had Giselle and all that stuff. So you can, that's all true. But at the same time, Evans and Godwin have seen that. And then the other part of that, the Tom Brady effect, is the longevity. It's the take care of your body, and you can extend
make more money. Yeah.
You can extend your contract. You can extend your playing time. You can extend your career and make more money as a result. And that's taken hold. And you've heard Mike Evans and Chris Godwin talk about that. The other guy we haven't seen yet, but we had Zion McCollum on our show, Peter Report podcast, the other day. He was talking about how he's like, Vita Vea has slimmed down, and he thinks Vita Vea is close to 300 pounds right now.
Wow.
What?
Yes. That's
Whoa.
Zion saying
Whoa.
that. I mean, this is a guy that is listed at 347 and has played, I know for a fact, into the 360s, right? Maybe even touching 370 or something.
Well, now I'm worried. I think 300 is too light for him.
Well, he's a big-bodied Islander, right? So it's like, but Zion's words, not mine. He said that he, Vita had this big belly, but like the big belly's gone. It's like flat now. And
like Sue, because he's working out with Sue. Remember what Sue looked like?
Yes.
He was just thick everywhere, and he wasn't fat at all. And he was
Sue was like 305, 310 pounds, but he looked like he was 330.
Yeah.
And
huge.
And exactly. And Jason Light said that he's
never missed a game except for suspension.
That's exactly right. It's about longevity. And it's like with Vita Vea, you've got a big guy that, he wakes up one morning, my foot hurts, right? It's like, well, what happened, Vita? Did you get injured? No, I'm 350 pounds. I'm 29, gravity, exactly. So you see these soft tissue injuries, the calf injuries, the groin injuries, those types of things. It's just the function of being a big man. And I think Vita really, that hit home for him last year when he missed a couple games and then was really ineffective for a couple games around that groin injury and around, the foot injury. And so that's the Tom Brady effect. It's those veteran players who are now, knocking on 30's door or in the 30s that are taking care of their bodies because they saw what it did for Tom. Yeah. And so the trickle down effect is now Tom is gone, right? Yaya Diaby didn't play it down with Tom Brady, but Chris Godwin's there, Mike Evans is there, Vita Vea is there. Those veteran players, Winfield, right? Same thing. Those veteran players that played with Brady, now they're setting the same Brady example. Be a good teammate. It's like you can cash in, but save some for your teammates. Take care of your body, extend your career. And that's what Jason Light and Bruce Arians saw with Tom Brady. It's not just about the Super Bowl and the 13-win season. It's the trickle down into the team when Brady's gone.
Scott, look inside your crystal ball here. Tristan Wirfs, how's that situation going to work out? Some Bucs fans concerned about it. Reports are, of course. I mean, when do you think they get that done? Is it a couple weeks? Is it a month from now? I mean,
before the season.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be before the season for sure. And I think ideally they want it done before training camp. Now, I mean, I know Jason Light's going to Machu Picchu and Peru and all that stuff, where he's not going to have cell phone signals. So he wants to get this done before summer break, which effectively is like 2 weeks, right? It's better. You have your next week, you have the mini camp, mandatory mini camp, and then you're gone for about 5 weeks. They want to get it done before then. If for some reason they don't, I would expect Tristan to, hold out of training camp, probably hold in so he doesn't get fined, which means he shows up,
right?
Reports to camp, he's there, but he's just not going to practice. And I think the team is A-okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not like he's making the switch from right tackle to left tackle this season, right? He did that last year.
The less he's on his feet, the better, in my estimation.
I'm with you, man. So here's the thing: both sides want to get this done. So it's just a matter of time, and it's just a matter of finding that sweet spot that both sides can really come to grips with. As I reported on Pewter Report, did a Pewter Pulse video on this. The Penei Sewell deal screwed things up. They were that close to getting it done with Tristan. And as you saw, guys, with Antoine Winfield getting $21.025 million over Jair Alexander, who made $21 million, right, to become the highest paid defensive player or highest paid defensive back, I should say, in the NFL. It's $25,000. That was the amount where he I'm number one now, right? $25,000 more per year than Alexander. Well, the problem is Laramie Tunsil was making $25 million, and all of a sudden it's like they went straight to the triple dog area, right? They forgot all the protocol. They went right to the triple dog dare.
Can't do that, man. Can't do that.
From $25 million to $28 million, right? Yeah. And you think, okay, it's only $3 million. That's fine. Okay, but $3 million, like you can get Luke Gedeke and Rashad White, both of those players, for just over $3 million. This year in terms of their base salary. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what $3 million means. I know people think the hundreds of millions of dollars with the salary cap, and it's an absurd amount of money. And I get that, but like that's that's what it is. I mean, Grant Martin's going to be making less than $3 million this year.
It makes a difference.
It makes a difference. And it's not just that, but it's $3 million every year over the life of the deal. So that's like, if you sign up for 4 or 5 years, that's $12 or $15 million more. So that's why it makes a little bit of a difference. And then you look into the guaranteed money and the way the contract's structured, and it just threw a monkey wrench in things, and it forced the Bucs to have to kind of recalculate,
reevaluate. Yeah.
And it's not just about this year; it's about the future planning. And nobody does it better than Mike Greenberg, who's going to be in our show on Thursday, by the way, tomorrow.
Nice,
a little plug there. But we'll talk to him about it. But it's what happens in 25 and 26 and 27, the future planning and how the dominoes fall. And the thing to remember is a lot of times, when these deals are done, they're staggered, right? So it's like you might have, like Mike Evans, his cap value goes down this year, but then it goes up next year, right? And for longer term deals like Winfield's, a lot of it's more front loaded, and then it kind of decreases a little bit. So Greenberg and Jackie Davidson and Jason Light, they'll structure deals certain ways to where you might have a kind of a balloon where it kind of maybe goes up in year 2, then it goes down in year 3. So it's all about like a jigsaw puzzle and sliding it together. And that's where that extra $3 million per year can be a little bit more cumbersome.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens, but I'm not worried about it. And I don't think the Bucs
It's getting done. It's just a matter of what the number's going to be. And he's not going to miss any games. He's not going to miss much training camp. I would definitely not
living at the weight room.
Right. Exactly.
At one Buccaneer place. Like, I mean, he's ready to go for training camp right now. He's in great shape. He every time that there's been an event, a press conference at one Buccaneer place, he's always popping in drenched in sweat from the weight room in the back for Baker, for Mike, for all the press conferences. So it's not like this guy's holding out. It's not like he's been away from the facility. It just, you don't want, if you're Tristan Wirfs, you're only guaranteed, and it sounds crazy, right? I mean, you and I and Peter, we would be fine with $18 million guaranteed, right? But that's all that he's guaranteed right now. And we've seen even during OTAs, because that's really what the first 3 days of training camp are. They're OTAs. There's no pads. It's helmets, shorts, jerseys, and cleats. Yeah. And on the second day of training camp, which is no pads, Ryan Jensen suffered a catastrophic, horrific, career-ending knee injury. Not on purpose, just on accident. But you don't want Tristan Wirfs on the practice field. And he doesn't want to be on the practice field until that new deal is done. Because when he does sign the new deal, he's going to get at least $40 million in guaranteed money, if not 50, if not maybe a little bit more than that. We'll see where it comes in. But that's the difference. He's only guaranteeing $18 million right now. If his career ended, if he stepped out in the field, something catastrophic happened, it sounds crazy. We're talking money that doesn't make sense to us.
Exactly. And that would be a huge hole.
But the difference is 18 million and 40 million or 50 million. It's like double or triple what he's going to be getting. So he has to safeguard his financial future for his family.
And for those who said Logan Hall hasn't had a huge impact on this team.
Yeah, it's a cheap shot, but it's also true.
I'm sorry, Logan. That was just a joke. It was just it wasn't your fault.
Like I said, cheap shot, but also true. So.
Scott, talk about the buzz around the rookies here. McMillan and, of course, Bucky Irving.
Yeah, McMillan
Love me some Bucky.
He's a smooth operator, man. Catches the ball exceptionally well. I think people forget, myself included, he was the leading receiver at Washington in 2022. He had more catches and more touchdowns than Rome Odunze. Odunze had him beat by like maybe 100 yards, but he was a 1,000-yard receiver. And he got injured, missed 4 games, was ineffective for a couple other games with that nagging knee injury. It was a PCL sprain. He came back. And when he came back, he was the guy that had a 100-yard day against Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. He was the guy that caught one of the 2 touchdowns that Michael Penix threw against Texas in the playoff win. He was the guy that caught the only touchdown against Michigan in the national championship game. So the Buccaneers feel like they got a steal with this guy because of the injury. It allowed Jalen Polk's numbers to be elevated. Polk went in the second round. It slid McMillan to the third. But there's just a kind of a Chris Godwin-like vibe you get from this guy. He's so fluid in his routes, knows how to get open, can run every route on the route tree, high points every ball. He attacks the ball in the air. third round pick. I mean,
yeah, it's great.
You know, it's like you got Chris Godwin at number 14, right? I mean, Mike Evans is number 13, Chris Godwin's number 14, Jalen McMillan wears number 15. It's like he's the next guy. And now here's the other thing. As good as he's looked, the guy getting rave reviews is Trey Palmer.
Whoa.
Zion McCollum said that. Jason Light said that. Trey Palmer has taken his game to the next level, and competition makes you better. And so there's plenty of room for the ball to find these guys. They're going to be 3 wide receiver sets. So Trey Palmer and Jalen McMillan, both those guys are going to see plenty of playing time. They may split that wide receiver 3 role. One of them might win it, but then the other guy is going to be filling in for Chris when he needs a breather, filling in for Mike when he needs a breather, filling in for the other guy when he needs a breather.
Or an injury.
Or an injury. So both McMillan and Palmer are really showing up. And then Bucky Irving, I'm super excited about the guy.
Explosive.
Instant acceleration, goes north-south, no hesitation, no like decision making. It's just see hole, run through it. Like it's, I think if anything, he's going to help Rachaad White in 2 areas. Number one, he's going to help him not have to carry all of the burden and all of the load. And I think you're going to see even maybe fewer touches, fewer carries for Rachaad White as a result, but more yards because more yards per carry as a result because he's fresher. He's not having to be that down in, down out workhorse. The other way he's going to help him is if Rachaad hasn't gotten that hesitancy, that kind of unneeded patience out of his running style yet, when Bucky's in there and he's hitting the hole super quick, Skip Pete's going to be saying, Rachaad, that's how we want it done. Just like that, right? So it's kind of that visual competition. It's, all right, I see what you did. Now, when I get back in the huddle, my carries, I'm going to hit the hole as fast as you did, Bucky. And I'm a bigger guy at 222, and I'm a tick faster than you. And I should be more productive. So that's what competition's all about. It's about making the guy that's ahead of you sometimes better. And McMillan's doing that with Trey Palmer. And I think Bucky Irving is going to do that with Rachaad White. Rashaad's still going to be number one. I think he could have a 1,000-yard season this year, no problem. But when Bucky Irving is in the game, you're not going to have the drop off either from Rachaad White to Chase Edmonds. And it's a different feel for the defenders too, to see, you got to find that little guy coming through. And once he's through, he's gone. I'll throw out a name because when I was watching McMillan run routes, I was like, and he reminded me of somebody that very few will know. It's a Pro Bowl wide receiver back from the 70s and 80s. Guy by the name of Paul Warfield. Oh, yeah.
Who played for the Dolphins. Yep. He was the smoothest route runner you would ever see. It doesn't even look like he's going fast.
He would just glide across the field.
They just glide.
Almost like he's like on some invisible, like, at the airports, they got those little those little like moving walkways. The moving walkways, right? Yeah. It's like he was just on one of those invisible people movers out there on the field. Yeah, that's a great comparison. It really is.
Where you walk up on somebody and you're like,
Paul Warfield.
Number 42. Right. Bob Greasy looked good.
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
Yep.
All right, partner. Great stuff as always. I don't know if you want to touch on this topic before we get out of here, but I don't know if you saw the Devin Tompkins stuff.
Yep.
He was released, kind of abruptly, and we were all kind of like, "Wow, that's kind of weird." And then on today, I saw some stuff on not on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but it was rerouted to Twitter of his wife. Putting some very explicit photos of alleged abuse and whatnot. And it was startling, really. I watched the whole thing, and it was startling. Yeah. So I don't know if Devin Tompkins will be back or what that whole situation is. But
I don't think he will. And Todd Bowles probably shouldn't have said the door's open. Not a great look. But I'll say this, to be fair, there are two sides to the story.
Exactly.
Not discounting or taking away anything from what she said whatsoever, because all of that very well could be true. I just don't know, right? I don't know what the truth is. That is her truth, right? And I'll accept that. I just don't know what Devin's truth is. And but yeah, it's certainly not a good look, right? That's obvious. And at the same time, I did a Pewter Pulse video on this. I don't think Devin Tompkins was going to make this team anyways. I really don't, for a couple reasons. Number one, he's the smallest guy on the team, 5'8", 155 pounds, soaking wet, like 155. Like not after training camp practice, it's maybe 149, right? So this is an extremely small guy. And I remember asking Liam Cohen when he first got hired, like, he's known for working with the Rams wide receivers and all of that when he was an offensive assistant. And so I asked him, I said, what's the top attribute that you look for in a wide receiver? And is it size, speed? He says catch radius. Catch radius is the and that kind of shows up. We talked about Jalen McMillan, right? Chris Godwin attacking the ball. Mike Evans, pterodactyl, wingspan with his ability to go up and get the ball. And when you've got a quarterback who's 6'1", that has to kind of place the ball sometimes because the vision's a little obstructed. He's not like a 6'5" Ben Roethlisberger type where you can see over the line. Not every pass is going to be perfect. You got to be able to get that ball that's a little bit ahead of you and a little bit thrown behind
and fight
you.
Fight through bigger people.
Yeah. Now, Devin Tompkins has got a crazy vertical for a 5'8" guy. That's going straight up though. But what you need to do as a quarterback is throw it in the vicinity of a guy and have him extend and go get it. Well, when you're 5'8", your arms are like they've gone from pterodactyl Mike Evans to like T-Rex, right? So that hurt him. Then the new kickoff return rule hurt him also because this is a player who goes down easy on first contact. I mean, for as much speed as he is, the speed only works when you're like in wide open spaces. In close quarters, he would go down. And you saw Chris Godwin be a better guy on tunnel screens than you did Devin Tompkins because Godwin's 205, 208, and he can break some tackles. So I didn't see a role for him as a kick return guy. This is going to be like a Bucky Irving type who's 192 compared to 155, or a Trey Palmer, a Jalen McMillan, who are both in that 192 range.
Yeah.
So I just didn't see
tackles.
a path where Devin Tompkins was going to be on this team anyways. And certainly I don't think he's coming back now with these things that have come to light for sure.
All right. You got Mike Greenberg coming on tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Give us a little promo.
Yeah, we got a Pewter Report podcast today at 4 o'clock. We do them every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4 live on our Pewter Report TV channel. Mike Greenberg is going to be on tomorrow, the Bucks cap wizard, cap Jedi. And so that'll be a very interesting conversation. We'll talk about Tristan Wirfs and some of the other contracts that he's done and will do in the future. And we just had Zion McCollum on, and you can watch all of our archived podcasts plus my Pewter Pulse videos on Pewter Report TV. It's our YouTube channel. I invite you to subscribe. We have 14,000 subscribers. You can also follow Pewter Report at Pewter Report on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And, of course, PewterReport.com, the mothership. We have our Bucks OTA Insider from yesterday and tons of content coming up today.
All right, partner. Great stuff as always, Scotty. We will catch up with you next week. See you.
See you, Peter.
Scotty. Yep. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. All right. I love talking Buccaneers. I was thinking about something, like we need more Buccaneer content during the summer. So here's an idea. Let's take all the 10 wins that the Bucks, maybe we'll do all the games. We'll just instruct you guys to go watch the games the night before. We'll rewatch the games, and then we'll talk about those games and what what we learned about these players moving forward in year two. It's kind of a review, but look forward. What do you think?
I like it. I like
that
it a lot.
idea.
Yeah, I do like that idea. Yeah.
It's just every time I start talking Bucks and the numbers go up and everybody wants to, it's like some of this other stuff. The Rays win last night, great, 9-5. I don't know how many people care anymore. I just think there's just a lack of interest, especially in the Rays this year. They'd rather talk about the Lightning, the Bucks, FSU football, Florida football, USF football, UCF football. I mean,
it's one thing that
it's football world, baby.
It is. It's one thing I learned in broadcasting school from the great Matt Salmon. He said, first thing you talk about when you do a sports talk radio show, football. Second thing you talk about when you do a sports talk show, football. Third thing you talk about when you do a sports talk show, football.
College football.
Right. No, he said the fourth thing, what do you talk about? Football. I mean, that's what everybody cares about. Like, I love baseball. I love hockey. We talk about it on this show, but predominantly, this has always been a football state, especially when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whether they're winning or losing. Even when they're losing, people just want to get on the lines and bitch.
Yeah, the Bucks and the Lightning are really, really hot right now. I don't know. At one time, when you talked about the Rays, there was just incredible amounts of interest, and I don't know. I don't sense that anymore for whatever reason.
I mean, it could be, I don't know. The stats show that if you don't spend this amount of money, you have no chance to win a World Series. Wait a
Stop
minute.
being mean.
Could it be the owner saying it's tough to swallow $90 million when you have?
Oh, come on, Peter. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Stop being disrespectful.
Oh, I know.
Stop being disrespectful.
Should just be happy.
He really cares about the community. He really does.
I know he does. I mean,
he does.
What is he here by 3 or 4 months out of the year?
No, listen, he wanted to get these stadiums done a long time ago,
Sure.
and
along with the redevelopment fee that
right. Yeah. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be so, be respectful.
It's all about business, baby. That's why people are turned off.
He's trying to win.
Care about business. They don't care about business of baseball. They don't care about the business of football. What they want to see: wins and losses, championships. Am I going
or just a team to root for, man? You want to be able to shell out those dollars and be happy about doing it to where the organizations are going. To the organization you're paying this money to. And I think with the Bucks and the Lightning, well, you love what they do on and off the field. You just love it.
Because
they're committed.
Their own players.
Yes,
that's why.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield has a great year. Guess what? He gets taken care of. Antoine Winfield has a great year. Guess what? If Randy Arozarena has a great year, guess what people are thinking? Bye-bye. Oh, he's going to be in the trade block.
Bye-bye, Blake Snell.
Prospects. I mean, you can't wrap your arms.
Bye-bye, Charlie Morton.
Right.
Who needs a pitcher like that?
Right. You want to wrap your arms, right, for $15 million.
Oh, my God. $15 million. Oh.
You won a championship with the Atlanta Braves. You want to wrap your arm. Like, you want to wrap your arms around the show. And we can. Right. You can do that. You want to wrap your arms around the Tampa Bay Rays, but you can't because every few years they get rid of them for a prospect. And I get it. It's a new toy and they're a great prospect. But as soon as they get anywhere in this organization, they're gone. That's why people love the Bucks. Because
you build a World Series team.
Yes.
And you go to the World Series in 2020. And instead of building on that, you tear it down for $15 million. That's not what good organizations do. That's not how you build fan loyalty. But again, why are we talking about them when we could talk about other things? All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, the Caitlin Clark fiasco. We didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday because we were out of OTAs. So we got some really special sound that you got to hear. And by the way, some revealing things about the girl that blindsided Caitlin Clark. It may not be shocking, but it'll be interesting. Stay with us. We're brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions. Paul Thomason, I will see him tonight at the Tampa Sports Club Hall of Fame induction. He's got a great company over there. If you got an event coming up, whether it's a charity event, big birthday party, whatever, they will give the professional touch and add some creativity to it as well. Get a free creative meeting with the great producers at Extravaganza Productions that will give you some great ideas. Look at their warehouse. They got tons of great props that will make your party or your charity event an absolute banger. So get in touch with them, extravaganzaproductions.com, through the website. Just tell them JP sent you. They'll give you that free creative meeting. Back in 3. Stay with us.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
All right, guys, the Golden Diamond Source Memorial Day sale is here. Now, I know you guys are saying I don't have the money to buy a ring right now. Times are tough. What about this? 5-year interest-free financing, so you can buy a $5,000 ring and only pay $83 a month. You got $83 a month to put the ring on the finger of that special person. That's right, $5,000 ring, only $83 a month. So that's 5 years interest-free financing. And of course, the Golden Diamond Source has the best selection. They have the best customer service. And when you shop at the Golden Diamond Source, you can proudly say our jewelry changes lives. We tell you this all the time, folks. The philanthropy of Julie and Steve Weintraub is incredible. Their entire staff very much involved in their philanthropy. The Hands Across the Bay charity helps so many abused women throughout the years. So this Memorial Day, pick a jewelry store that makes an impact. And don't miss their 5-year interest-free sale. It's the Golden Diamond Source, centrally located right there, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity. at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808. Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this hump day. Peter Blake joining me here each and every day. If you want to jump in on the phone lines, you can do that, right, Peter? Isn't that?
Yeah, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Definitely join the fun and frivolity. Your word there.
Yeah, isn't that a great word? Frivolity is a great word.
I love that. Yeah.
Hey, quickly to our great commenters who are jumping in today. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being part of the show. We try to include you as much as we can. We're jam-packed today, so we're trying to get everything in. Christopher Cole, I'm going to the Cubs Rays on Tuesday, not for the Rays. Shut up, Christopher. Cubs fan, you jerk. By the way, you want 2 outfield seats for the Cubs game on a Tuesday night? Plus fees? Sure. Outfield seats. Not even good outfield seats. Guess how much?
How much? Over 100?
108. 108.
Great. That's
before
the reason
parking, before anything. 108. 108 for a Tuesday night baseball game in the outfield. I wonder what people aren't showing up.
Well, and that's the
thanks.
That's
Michael Sorgel says a great show. I have not seen you in here, so thank you so much for joining us. He had another comment earlier that I wanted to get to. He said, and I want to ask you, Michael. So the Buccaneers players pointing their fingers at each other is a little too much at the moment, or is it just healthy competition? D-line thoughts on Liam Combs so far. Pointing the fingers, I haven't seen that. Have you seen guys pointing the fingers at each other?
No, I haven't seen that.
In what context, Michael, if you can jump in here again and tell us. So I'm not exactly sure. I see them like pointing fingers of like great deference and saying this, like yesterday we talked to Bryce Hall. It's a really interesting character, much different than I thought he was. Always interesting how guys show up and they're just different than you think they are.
Yeah.
Really nice young man, and just a very thoughtful guy, and very appreciative to be here. And I asked him about, that Jets culture versus this culture. And he explained it really well. We'll play it tomorrow for you. Basically saying there's just everybody really likes each other here. We just genuinely like each other. Guys hang out. It's such a different feel than New York. And New York was much more business-like and isolated. And this is just like one big family. Kept using the word family. And I said, I said, like, how does that help you win? It's just like, you just trust people. You trust people that, they may be saying, hey, you're my man, but behind, your back, they're stabbing you in the back. And so everybody's kind of walking on eggshells, and you're more about yourself than you are the team. I thought it was a great answer, and I'm paraphrasing here. It's you trust them, and you feel like you can go to them and get real answers, and they're really trying to help you as a team instead of being, competitive and looking out for number one. It's a great answer. I'm going to play that tomorrow, and you'll get it straight from his mouth. So,
and by the way, Pewter Report talks about this aspect of the team with their secondary getting high marks from Pro Football Focus. So I'm curious to see that. And I got to ask Bucs fans, again, phone lines are open, 727-255-0391. What is the most exciting aspect of this team going into 2024? Is it the offensive line, or is it the back end? For me, it's the back end, and I'll tell you why. The addition of Jordan Whitehead. Nobody is talking about that under
and Bryce Hall.
Yes, and
Bryce Thomas.
And Zion McCollum. Because
Zion McCollum and Tyke Smith.
Yes, to me, that could be one of the most exciting aspects of this team going forward that a lot of fans should pay attention to.
What was the biggest problem for the Bucs defense last year? They were, I think, 26th or 27th in pass defense.
Yes.
Giving up like 260 a game.
Especially on third down conversions.
Oh, my God. Third and long.
Third and long. Field, and Todd Bowles, if he had hair, would be pulling the hair out of his head, because his team, consistently all year long, when it came to third downs, could not get off the field. How many times did we see Carlton Davis in that Houston game, whether it was zone or whatever they're playing?
I think this is going to be a much, and I'll say this as nice as I can, a much smarter secondary. I think, they talk about communication. I'm going to talk about a much smarter secondary. These guys better. Way
much more intelligent, right? Not trying to take chances, not trying to get out of
football IQ is what we like to call it.
Oh yeah, football.
Michael LaRue says only 9,000 in attendance to watch the Rays at Marlins last night. Miami is 27th in payroll and 29th in attendance. How's that new stadium working out?
Boom, right there.
Exactly.
Right there. Exactly.
There you go. But,
that's the true set.
Hey, listen.
Yes.
Let's just make the same mistake they did. Why not?
Well, yeah, they got.
Then everybody can say how bad of a baseball market this is. No, we don't have a stadium problem. We don't have a baseball interest problem. We have the same problem that the Marlins have had, and that's lack of leadership and bad ownership.
That's it.
Who else? Michael says, "Great show." Yes, I agree.
Michael, appreciate you. He's on Facebook. He came to the YouTube side there on the JP
Awesome.
Peterson. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Tell your friends. We need a new stadium for Rays and Bucks, if not new stadium or renovation like what Carolina is doing. I saw that Tepper asked for $650 million from the city of Charlotte. I didn't.
For what? How many Super Bowls have they won? How good have they been the last? What have you done for me lately? Like an old Janet Jackson song from the 80s, being old, showing my age. What have you done for me lately, Carolina Panthers? The last time the owner, what did he do? Throw a drink on a fan? You think the fans want to pay for that nonsense after
throw drinks on? I think they were visiting. I think it was at another park, so it wasn't actually on Panthers fans. So,
well, you might as well throw a drink on a fan. You throw it on the fan every year with the way they played. I mean, fired the coach after the first year,
and the owner appears to be part of the problem too.
Well, yeah, and then on top of it, you completely miss. And again, I know it's too early to tell, but C.J. Stroud, let's face it. Yeah,
no, it was a whiff. It was a whiff, and I said that before the draft.
A Brandon Lau whiff, unlike last night. Yeah.
James says, I believe both sides of the ball much better for Bucks this year. Bowles continues to progress. That's why I keep saying Bucks can win 12. I agree. I agree. I'm closer to 12 than I am 7. Nathan, what's up, buddy? Says, I am excited that we'll not be talking about Carlton Davis missing time this year or missing plays, by the way.
Right.
You know, he got beat a lot. He got beat a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be missing him much. I'll never understand how the St. Pete County Commission can approve this stadium deal and basically screw the taxpayers. Hey, wait till you see
because they're making
no home run press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
They're going to release the result of a Mason and Dixon legitimate poll about public support or lack thereof for the new stadium deal. And I'm predicting 60. I'm going to go 68. I'm going to go on the low side, 68%, but I think it might be closer to 80%.
I'm going higher. I'll go 70, 75.
Okay. All right. All right. So Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Actually, let's hit a break and then we'll come back and get the, wow, we got to get the Jane Geddes interview in. Let's just go ahead and do this right now. The Caitlin Clark stuff is, it's shocking in so many different ways. This was maybe the most shocking part. This is Angel Reese, who, by the way, got kicked out of the game last night. Not for doing much, by the way. She just said something.
What has she done all year long, by the way? What's her point?
Not much. I mean, she's not. These rookies are going to struggle.
Oh, wait a minute. People are there to see her. They're there to see her.
Well, listen to this. If you guys didn't know this, what's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about the national championship game from 2 years ago that she beat Caitlin Clark in, or her team did. This is why people are flocking to the WNBA and to women's college basketball.
From the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me, too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Oh, yeah. Just realize that with the attendance, by the way. So the attendance is 7,000 to 8,000 for a Chicago Sky game, which
and how much for Indiana Fever?
17,000.
Yeah.
But no, you guys don't owe her anything. By the way,
Angel.
To the media out there saying, well, there's no bias versus Clark at all. The women can't stand her.
There's no jealousy. This is Rebecca Lobo and all these people on ESPN are trying to sell me that this was not about jealousy. This was not targeting. This was not racism. When a girl like Kennedy Carter walks up behind her and goes, yo, bitch, and hits her in the back, blindsided play, and that's supposed to be just physical basketball. You want to say, oh, you guys don't cover this league. You don't know it's a physical league. I know it's a physical league. I know I've watched WNBA, but I don't watch a lot. But I know it's a physical league. I've played against WNBA players in pickup games, and they knock the crap out of you. They are extremely physical, and they will bury you.
Maybe that's why they have
extremely talented players and big, and bigger than me.
Right.
And so there's a lot of tremendous players in this league, but you're not selling me any of that crap. I'm not buying. I ain't buying any of it. There's jealousy that all of that was mixed into it. For you trying to whitewash this as if it's not what it is ridiculous. Yep. And look, Angel, she's right. It's not just about Caitlin Clark. It's not, because when you sample the league, you see a lot of great players. Ogunbowale, remember the running back from the Bucks, his sister. It's a tremendous player. Won 2 national championships on threes at the buzzer. I mean, she's amazing. There's so many great players in this league. You watch it. It's not just Caitlin Clark, but Caitlin's bringing the eyeballs, man. Mm-hmm. She's played 11 games in 20 days, coming off a national championship season where she's been in the spotlight, and she's handled it with grace. By the way, how many body maintenance games has she taken, NBA players? 11 games in 20 days. How many times has she sat at? That would be zero. LeBron.
Yeah.
0. So,
but even LeBron said
she's handled it with a lot of grace. I can tell you that. She's handled it with tremendous grace.
Yeah.
But to pretend that this is something that it's not is ridiculous.
A hip check, by the way.
Yeah.
That was a hockey hip check. That's not even a basketball play. What's the point of that? And then, of course, you got Angel Reese on the sideline there cheering it on.
Yeah.
Like,
and none of Caitlin's teammates came to her aid. Not one.
Which is repulsive.
Repulsive.
One thing you loved about Ryan Jensen was attitude.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have your back every single time.
Mike Evans, same way. You touch Tom Brady, the GOAT, I'm coming after you. I'm coming to punch you in your face. I'm coming to knock you out.
That's right. I was listening to Clay Travis's podcast, and he goes, you know what they ought to do, the Indiana Fever? They ought to go sign Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
He's already, he already identifies as a woman.
Sure.
So you got that going. So he'd be able to play, right?
Why not?
He's very good at dressing in women's clothing. He's very comfortable in that. You hire him as an enforcer for Caitlin Clark. He's going to give you double-digit rebounds every game and play at 63. Still going to play you some good defense. But then nobody will touch Caitlin Clark. I can tell you that. No. I'll pay good money to see it.
And by the way,
good money to see it.
The whole
and let's see if the treatment keeps going on.
Sure.
Like it is. Let's see if they keep knocking her around like that when they get an enforcer out there that's going to dish it back out. I think I would stop it. And for the league to not do anything is just absolutely. And you know what? I wish Caitlin Clark. First of all, I told her to not leave Iowa. I told her to stay for another year and enjoy basketball and have a great time. She would have made a ton more money if she'd have stayed at Iowa in a much more inviting, fair atmosphere. I knew she was going into a den of wolves, and I knew exactly. We've talked about it on this show. It was going to be. I didn't think it would be this ugly. I thought they'd be a little bit smarter to understand what a cash cow she is and how much money she's going to put in their pockets. I thought they'd be a little bit smarter, but I was wrong. They're not that smart. They're clearly not that smart. They can't overcome their jealousy and pettiness to allow this to happen. They can't. And I think it would be awesome if Caitlin just said, screw it. I'm going to go play overseas.
Well, go play with the big three. I mean, go play anywhere at this point if they're going to treat you like that. If the league is not going to step up and protect you,
absolutely,
and your own teammates are not going to protect you. And once again, that whole narrative being thrown out there, well, the players are not against her. Nobody's against her. Really? Because her players are not having her back. They're all together on this. It's like they want to prove a point. And I get it. Look, Jordan had to get beat down. And the thing you appreciate Jordan from the Detroit Pistons aspect is that he got stronger. But even then, the league stepped in and said Jordan rules because they knew how important he was to the league going forward.
That's right.
Hello, WNBA. Do you know how important Miss Clark is to that league? If you keep it up, you're going to lose her.
Yep. All right, quick break. When we come back, Jane Geddes is going to join us of the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group, but also she's a major champion in golf and has been a major champion for women's sports for a long, long time. We'll talk about Caitlin Clark with her, what's going on in the world of golf, and, of course, real estate as well. So quick break. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Peter Blake is a very happy patient there, as am I, as is Nick. And we're going to get Tim do a little telemedicine with the doc as well. So we get the whole group in there. And you should too. Get a primary care physician that cares about you, will spend time with you, and really get to what's going on with you. That's Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Make an appointment right there. You will not regret it. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just
get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on TrueBody and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you were thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on. Brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. Go on in there to get that engagement ring, folks. Don't forget 5 years free financing. With rates the way they are right now, your credit card at 29%, you don't want to put a ring on that.
No.
You want to put a ring on that. You want to put a ring on her finger, not on that 29% credit card. Free financing for 5 years, which means for $83 a month, you can get a $5,000 ring, which will be really, really nice. So head on in there, see the great staff. Whatever your budget is for any gifts or graduations or anything, just tell them what you want to spend, and they'll say, okay, let me show you some of this. And they will show you just the most beautiful jewelry, unique collections they have there that you won't find anywhere else. And as we always say, keep it local. And they are a great, great local company, so philanthropic. You're gonna pay for this stuff at the mall or some other place. Keep it local. Go to the Gold and Diamond Source where you know they're trusted as well. Sometimes with diamonds, they say what they are, but you don't know that what they are, right? You want to go to someone who's absolutely trusted, and that's the Gold and Diamond Source. They've been here 40 freaking years. So head on over there, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Amazing.
All right, so we caught up with Jane Geddes yesterday, and we had some chats about a lot of different things. So let's roll this interview right now. Here we go. All right, we want to welcome in our good friend Jane Geddes, two-time major championship winner, 11-time winner on tour, to talk a little golf and a little real estate. Hello, Jane. How you doing?
I'm great, JP. How are you?
Good, good. A lot of things happening in the world of golf and real estate, so we'll talk about it all here. And first things first, real big news this past week on the LPGA Tour, on the golf tour, one of the biggest names in golf, Lexi Thompson, who was just in the big match play with the guys not long ago. Very popular player at the age of 29. 29, amazing. Retiring from the game of golf. She's won one major, 11 tour victories, kind of like your career, except you had two majors. Were you shocked by that?
Yes. In my first reaction was shock. And then the flip side of me said, I get it. And I get it from a perspective that more from a player's perspective. And I think what people don't necessarily realize is how hard it is to be a professional golfer on the men's and on the women's side, by the way, and on any tour. And we've seen that recently. There's been, obviously some things that were less than optimum, right? All the way around. But, listen, I think the most, no matter what, the great side of it is that, listen, I played, and Lexi did, and everyone else played. We played golf. We traveled around the world. And we got paid to do that. Unreal. Greatest job ever.
I would think.
Ever.
I would think.
Greatest job ever, right?
I'll take it.
I feel, I mean, how many people, right? Would a lot of people. And I mean, I feel like one of the luckiest people in the world. That's me looking back a little bit, right? I think when you're in it, the challenge is it's hard. It is friggin' hard. Yeah. It's a grind. It's the travel, all the sort of, other things besides being inside the ropes, which is where you want to be, and you want to be in the lead and you want to make, whatever, everything else around that is hard. making the cut. Does everybody know that for the most part, most every week, 90% of the tournaments, if you don't make a cut, you don't make a paycheck?
Yeah.
You don't make a paycheck. So you work all week, you travel, you fly, you pay your hotel, you pay your food, you pay your caddy, you do everything, right? You rent a car, pay your entourage. You make zero. You make
No money.
$0 that week, right? So it's hard. It's hard, and the players on both tours, they're awesome right now. I mean, they're all good. So anyway, I mean, I'm sad because she's such a great presence on the LPGA. I think she had so much left in her. She struggled a little bit on the greens and in the majors, and but she's such a powerful player, and could she overcome that? Clearly, she felt like she couldn't, and she wanted to move on. So more power to her for it's a hard thing to do. A lot of people just fade away,
right?
They just leave, right? Because you can,
yeah.
And she's going to kind of do her goodbye tour this year. So, but it's hard. It's a hard life.
It's interesting because she played in the Aramco event that was here at Feather Sound not long ago,
Mhm.
and I wanted to just go watch her hit balls because I think she has just
I did the same
magnificent swing, and I just wanted to, and I'm sitting there, and she was walking across the towards me from across this big green with her caddy, and then over to the range, and I just watched her for a little bit, and I don't say this in a derogatory way at all, but she just seemed spent. No joy whatsoever, not talking to anybody, not acknowledging fans. And I don't mean it in a mean way, but when I heard that, I wasn't surprised. There was a joyless feeling about her aura. And I was like, wow, that, it didn't seem right. It didn't seem right.
It's funny you said that because I saw you at the Ramco.
Yeah.
And after we spoke, I walked down the driving range, which is what I love to do at LPGA tournaments. I don't ever go watch. I just love to go to the range. I love to watch these girls hit balls now. And I stood behind Lexi, and my feeling was, I get what you're saying. I felt that. I felt it in a very robotic way. Just the way she stood, and everything she did around hitting balls was really robotic. The way she put the ball in the spot to hit it, it was almost the same amount of time after every shot. And I'd never really seen that. I mean, I was usually one to go to the driving range and chat a little bit, and chat with my caddy, chat with the other players.
You see a lot of that.
Loose.
Yeah,
it's kind of the place to do that. It's kind of the place to kind of, I don't know. You're seriously practicing, but man, she like you said, she was just either. I thought, man, is she focused? But I think what you're saying is absolutely right. There wasn't a lot of joy. There was a lot of really, it was very, very serious. So interesting.
And you said earlier, alluding to what happened with Grayson, who committed suicide a couple weeks ago, and everybody was just like, "Why, bro? You're rich, you're handsome, you're playing golf for a living."
Yeah.
And we never know what people are going through. You never know what they're going through, and everything is relative. Everything is relative. So we always need to kind of keep that in mind. I think I'm the same way. Sometimes I'm just like, come on. Tough it out. We all got our troubles, but I think we all need to be very cognizant of that. It's all relative. It's just it just is. Yeah.
It's hard when you're talking about sports, I think, because as an athlete, your perspective is different than, kind of the fans that are out there that are looking, going, damn, I'd love to do that. Like, I can't believe that guy would do that, or I can't believe that girl would do that. So I get all that, and it is. I mean, so I see both sides, but
because you've lived it. You've lived it, and it can be challenging. All right, so let's talk about this 22-year-old Yuka Sasso, and who was the first Filipina, not Filipino, Filipina. I learned that in 2021 to win the U.S.
I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known that.
You'll get chastised. And then becomes the first Japanese woman to win the U.S. Open because her father's Japanese, her mother's Filipino, and she plays for two flags.
Sweet.
Good
I
for
thought that was,
that was really cool. And man, what a finish! 4 birdies on this Lancaster Country Club that everybody, even the guys, were saying, "Oh my God, this is one of the toughest tracks I've ever seen."
Yeah,
that was a hell of a win.
It was a great win, and I love to see. When I won the Open, I won it on a tough golf course, NCR Club in Dayton, Ohio, and it was a very similar situation where it's sort of an unknown. People are like, "NCR Club, what about it?" Yeah, well, go check it out. Anybody that gets a chance to go play to this day, it is a bear. It reminded me of Lancaster. that sort of, it's going to come up and bite you kind of course, and you're not even going to realize it. So to watch her come down the stretch, and in particular, if anyone was watching the last hole and the chip that she hit from the front of that green with a sand wedge on a tight lie,
tight lie
up the hill, to win the U.S. Open, and just like whoop, just popped it up there,
So easy.
a foot. I was like, what?
I blade that
I was
over the
waiting
green
for
and
the replay.
99 times out of 100.
I chunk it for 1,000% sure. I was
There's no
right
way
now,
I'm making clean contact. No,
oh my
zero.
God! I was hoping that they did the replay, and they did, because I wanted to see how clean she caught it, and she caught it perfectly. It was great. I mean, she's 22 years old, 2-time U.S. Open winner. And one thing, JP, a little bit of an aside to you can and that. And by the way, I thought it was the coolest speech, and talking about her parents, and I almost wanted to cry. She gave one to her dad and one to her mom, and as far as Philippines and Japan. But I want to say something, because the leaderboard at this Open was interesting, right? It looked like, and I saw the comments online, is this the Asian Open? What is it? And I want to talk about that just for a split second, because I'm bothered by that, and I'm bothered by it because Andrea Lee is American, Minjee Lee is Australian. I don't know if anybody heard Yuka's speech, but she spoke perfect English. Go down the list, okay? And we have players from all over the world on the LPGA. We always have.
Yeah.
Before the European Tour infiltrated the PGA Tour, even in the least bit, the LPGA Tour was a global tour. Back when I was playing, I mean, I spent 2 months every year in Japan playing their tour. So it was just we had to be more global. Our goal was let's get the best players in the world together to play golf. And that now has just grown. And the interesting part of that is that, it's gone in cycles. So it was back in the day, Japanese, when I was on tour, Ayako Okamoto was the rock star from Japan. Oh, by the way, and a bunch of Japanese players followed her. Well, guess who came after that? Lisa Lott Neumann came after that. She won the U.S. Open. Guess who came after that? All the Swedes. Annika.
Yeah.
Helen Alfredson. I can go down the list.
It's always been a global tour.
It's always been global, but people haven't seen it that way necessarily because of how people look and not even knowing where they're from, and so I think when I hear that, I always get a little on that, because I want people to understand that the LPGA has always been that. And these players, they're from all over the world. They're not necessarily, their ancestry might be Asian or wherever, but they are, a lot of these girls are American or Australian, from New Zealand.
And most of them play college golf here anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they all play college golf here.
So anyway, I mean, I think the tour is in a really great place, and it's exciting to watch, and the players are amazing. I think Yuka's a great example of that. And it was a great test this week. Really great test.
And this may come off really, really bad, but I'll just say this. And when I try to follow the tour, I look at the names, and sometimes I can't differentiate because they're so similar.
It is. I mean, it's hard because when you see names on, and you see Lee is a very common name, obviously a very Korean name, and there's, and you see, so it's
hard to get a profile
it's
of
hard.
them. Yeah,
it's hard, but the bottom line is that these women are playing some really fantastic
quality
golf.
of play is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It is crazy. I mean, anyone that questions that, go out to an LPGA event and do what we did. Go on the driving range.
They don't
just
miss.
Go stand on the driving range.
They don't miss shots.
Good luck. Anybody that thinks, I could beat these women. I'm a low handicap. I drive it 300 yards.
No shot.
Let me know, and I'll put
We'll set up a little match.
That. I'll set it up.
We get Nelly to come down and play some of the guys.
100. Anybody in Tampa interested in that? Let's bring it on, right?
Yeah. Can you set up a game with Nelly Corda? I would love to play with Nelly Corda.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. No,
talk about watching somebody hit balls. I watch them hit balls all day long. It's the most beautiful swing I've ever seen in my life.
Ever. I mean, I don't care. Any tour. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, some other things. And the men's tour is kind of interesting this week too. Robert
Yeah.
McIntyre gets a win with
That's
his
cool.
dad,
Right.
dad on the bag, a Scottish
Oh, so
golfer who
cute.
was on the European Ryder Cup team that won. So we kind of know who he is, and he knows how to win tournaments. But with his dad on the
So
bag, that was a cool deal.
awesome. That was cool. Emotional again. I
Yeah.
mean, we had two really emotional winning kind of, moments in golf, which is cool. We don't always get that. It seems sometimes it feels very robotic, and it's like, I'm here, give me my check, give me my trophy, I'm good. So, but that was very cool.
And the other thing, Rory played with a hangover, and you told me
There
you
you
said
go.
you have how many? Give me a story about playing on an LPGA
Okay.
Tour event with a bit of a hangover.
I'll give you one. So we were in Princeville, Hawaii,
Right.
and I think it was in the late 80s, whatever. And in Princeville there's a rainy place. I think it might be the rainiest place in the world. I don't know, but that light's like got that kind of thing, where
Yeah.
there's tons of rain. So you expect to play in the rain some. Well, we had a complete washout for like Tuesday, Wednesday. We played the Pro-Am. The Pro-Am wasn't able to be played, so we did like a putt-putt course around the like convention center at the hotel, right? So it was that. So it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were rained out. They were like, okay, on Friday, we're going to play, but we can only play 16 holes because 2 of the holes were washed out.
Just washed out.
Completely. So they didn't make that decision on the washout until late Thursday night. So we're at the Princeville, whatever hotel. We've been there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have been
stir crazy
drinking out the bar. I mean, it's like there's nothing else to do. That's where we were. We were playing putt-putt in the conference room.
Oh my God.
So I would say.
So you weren't the only one.
No. When we found out, it was like 10 o'clock at night after like 14,000 margaritas, and they're like, hey, by the way, we're going to play tomorrow. And it's only going to be 6.
How did you play? How did you play?
Okay, I don't remember how I played, but I remember the one thing I remember is when I went to put the tee in the ground on the first tee, I almost like fell over. I got like, I put my head up and my head went, whoa. And the only thought was, do not miss the ball. Like, don't miss the ball on this drive. Yeah. So.
Hey, John Daly won a PGA hammered, so you never know how you can get it done.
Rory won't be the last.
Rory won't be the last. It won't be the last time he does it either. That's for sure. I want to ask you about Caitlin Clark. Yeah, a lot of controversy this week. One of the girls took a cheap shot at her. Yeah. She's been getting hammered. But a lot of rookies get that. But it seems like this particular one was a little bit targeted. There were some words said. It's a really bad look for the WNBA. How the players handled it afterward was a horrible look for the WNBA. I mean, she's bringing so much notoriety. They're flying charter flights now. She's going to bring them tons of money. I just think I don't know why this is happening. I think it has a tinge of racism to it. It's just bad. It's just really, really bad. And I'm not going to say I'm shocked, but it's, I don't know. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah. So I'm sad. It makes me sad. And the video that I saw when her teammate didn't, if I'm her teammate, I go after that player.
Yeah.
I mean, and it didn't happen. That just a lot of the surrounding thing, like you said, made me sad. And it made me sad because it kind of brought back some just moments for me when, I played on tour for 20 years and you're playing with your competitor. Everybody's competing for the top spots and stuff. And as you're sitting in meetings, we would have player meetings and talk about every issue that you can imagine to try to get things right, whatever we had said. And the one challenge was always getting people to put their own needs and their own
agendas,
needs aside,
support each other
as you looked at what's good for the tour, what's good for the WNBA, and as an athlete, it's again, I talked about before, as looking back, it's so much easier for me to look back now. But as an athlete, you don't necessarily have any basis, or you've never been at a job where you have to you have to make different choices. Yeah. So a lot of times, and I'm not necessarily defending it, I'm just saying like the reality of it
Yeah.
is, unfortunately, you as players and as athletes, you're kind of coming through the system and you're coddled and you're entitled and you're being pushed over here, and then you get drafted or you make the tour and you win tournaments, and all of a sudden when you win tournaments, by the way, or you're good, you become a brain surgeon. You're the smartest person on earth,
Yeah.
amazingly enough.
Yeah.
I don't care if you know about the subject or not. You're supposed to know about it now. And so I think what I look at what's going on, and I feel that. I feel the players just not looking at the bigger picture.
Right.
And that makes me sad, even though, again, I sort of get it. It's not right.
No.
And I think LeBron came out and basically said, you guys need to like see what you're doing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I think there is some jealousy. I don't
That was
know.
a nice leadership moment from LeBron. That really was.
100%.
It's a great
And
moment
again,
from him.
a guy
And
that
much
gets
needed.
it.
Much needed.
Much needed from a voice.
Well,
that
Tiger
gets
got
it.
some of that when he came out there. Remember some of the old
Yeah,
guard,
sure.
there's a tinge of racism there too.
Sure,
And they were
absolutely,
all
JP.
pissed about answering questions about it. It's like,
Yep.
get over yourselves, man. Get over
Yep.
yourselves. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to your game. Especially for the PGA Tour at a time when wasn't a ton of people knocking down the doors and sponsors to throw cash money at them until Tiger came along. It's the same thing now with Caitlin Clark. And, and some of those old-time PGA pros had to be told, hey, shut the F up and support the kid.
It's identical.
Yeah,
it's identical.
It really
it's identical because what's going to happen, as we call it in golf, especially on the LPGA, because we didn't have it, was the Tiger effect. So how did the PGA Tour get so far ahead of the LPGA? It's a Tiger effect. I mean, Tiger came along, TV rights went through the roof, sponsors went through the roof, everybody wanted to put money in the PGA Tour. There was this great disparity. Okay, so now the WNBA has the Caitlin effect happening. We're going to look back and we're going to hopefully say, as long as it doesn't implode, is the WNBA became what it is because of the Caitlin effect. It's just how it happens. It's players come along every now and then, and they make that difference, and it ends up being the trickle down effect to everyone, as long as you can see it and accept it. And so, I hope that they get through this. I hope there's enough leadership within the WNBA, whether it's from a team perspective or the league perspective, that they're able to really, calm this and set the players straight and say, hey, listen, we need to unify on this and make it right for everyone, because in the end, everyone wins.
It would be a nice leadership moment in society because everybody's watching this and we're all so divided, and we get what this is. We all get it. And it would be a nice time and LeBron has stepped up and a lot of others have stepped up and say, hey, let's, we're basketball players. We're not white. We're not black. We're not straight. We're not gay. We're basketball players. All right. Can we just play basketball and all get, and that goes for all society. Can we all stop with the labels and just be kind to people? How about that?
Spot on.
Everybody.
Spot on.
Everybody.
Spot on.
Stop being
Spot on.
stupid.
It is. It's a, and again, Caitlin is giving us that moment of this, right? She's giving us this moment that is outside 3-pointers. It's so outside her shooting a 3-point, which is, so it's been interesting as she's almost like the chosen one, that has now given us these opportunities to be better.
By the way,
to be better at what we do.
Her 11th game in 20 days. And she just came from with the WNBA season comes right after the college women's basketball. Show me another sport where this happens. This would be like an NFL player or a college player coming out of their season and going right into an NFL season and playing 5 games in 4 weeks. I mean, 11 games in 20 nights. No, they had like a week and a half to get ready. And then 11 professional games in 20 days, and she scores 3 points on the second end of a back-to-back, and everybody's like, oh, she sucks. I'm like, sucks. She's exhausted. It's what she's going through is we'll find out later, what this was like for her, but it is a grind.
It's tough. And she's young. I mean, I know,
but
you're not talking, but more power to her. I mean, it's so impressive all the way around and so fun to watch. And, it's like, I'm a fan. I wasn't necessarily a WNBA fan, and now I'm a fan.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah, there are.
Let's get it together,
Yeah, there are.
girls. Come on.
Yeah, there are.
Hey,
Exactly.
before you get out of here, let's talk a little real
Yep.
estate. This is your
Yep.
this is your gig now, and Tampa
Yep.
real estate is Tampa Bay real estate. It's going It's
Yep.
been going bananas. What's the situation now? If things calm down, we got interest rates, way up
Yep.
there. What's going
Yep.
on?
Yeah, so thanks for asking. So the interest rates are still where they are. They're still a bit of a challenge. However, uh, the Tampa Bay market has remained very, very, very solid. We are still seeing, there's very little reduction in where we are. Properties are still appreciating. We still have an inventory issue where it's hard unless people are leaving and have another place to move to. It's hard to just say I'm going to sell my house and make a profit and then move on. I don't have any place else to go because the inventory is low. So we're still at that. It is getting better. We're coming into that summer months where the churn is a little better. There are still situations when homes are priced right. We're having multiple offers. We are, though, for the most part, in a situation where there isn't some negotiation room, but prices are still solid. As it relates to the mortgage, what the higher rates have led to are the mortgage companies becoming more creative. So there's a lot of different programs out there for buyers that are interested in financing, interested in what sort of programs there might be out there. All different programs from either a mortgage rate now and there's a refinance deal, or if you need to sell your house, a little bit of the bridge loan situation. There are companies out there that are doing that, so we don't have to get into a contingency situation. I can't buy this house until I sell mine. There's just a lot of creativity. So I would suggest anyone that is interested in more information on that, give me a call. Let me know. I am connected to quite a few mortgage brokers and whatnot in the Tampa Bay area. A lot of different programs. I'd be happy to connect people just to ask questions. I mean, just free advice, right? To get any information that they might need on creativity, on creative financing, or how they might do something. And obviously, if anyone's interested in buying or selling their house, or again, like I said, or just want some, they want to talk about it, or interested in just
See where
finding
that
out
might
more.
be.
What's my
'Cause
house
you need
worth?
the numbers. Yeah, you
Whatever.
need to get the numbers, and if you
Right.
call, you can get the numbers. You guys can talk
Call
about
me.
what the possibilities are
Call me.
instead of saying, the interest rates are way too high.
Exactly. Exactly.
And when the interest rate come down, the prices are going to skyrocket. So
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly the thing now. So let's do that calculation.
Right.
Don't make that assumption, like you said. Let's do that calculation. House is worth this now. This is what I'm going to buy it for at this rate. So what happens when the prices go up in 2 years? Because we are still in that appreciated market right now in Tampa.
Prices aren't going down.
They're not going down. So then, if the rates stay where they are, what are your payments going to be? So again, I think there's still some just uncertainty out there, but there are a lot more answers than what we had before.
Yeah, well, you got to find out what the numbers are, and that's the best
Yep.
way to do it. And
Exactly.
go to
Exactly.
GetUsGordonGroup.com is your website, and give them the phone number.
813-485-6808. 485-6808.
Yes. Jane,
Thank
always
you,
fun
JP.
chatting with you. Great stuff
Same.
as always. We'll do it again in a week or so. Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Thank you,
All right.
JP.
We'll hear more from her each and every week talking about the golf tours and WWE, right, Peter?
Yes, absolutely. She was a part of that talent relations, I believe. So
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, for many years.
For her, yeah.
She follows. You guys can get after it with the wrestling. So
Oh, yeah.
all good. All right, let's bring in a noted wrestler himself, the great Lou Maggio, Tampa Bay Sports Club, who is overseeing tonight's big banquet, the Hall of Fame induction. What's up, sweet Lou? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, let's talk real estate. I want to talk some more real estate real quick.
It's always interesting to hear, though, isn't it?
I'm going to segue into the other part. But anyway, so one of our own models from Venus calls me the other day and tells me she's in real estate in LA. And she goes, hey, listen, I've got a client that has a house.
Oh, my God, Lou. Wait, there you are. There you are. Can't hear you, though.
Can't hear you.
We can't hear you. I can't.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself. All right.
Well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and
remove him for a second.
Yeah, we'll move him out of here. Hold on a sec here. Hold on. Let's go back to this here and let's see.
You want to hit a break real quick, and then we'll bring him on the after.
Yeah, we'll hit a break. We'll see if we can get it all corrected here. Just stand by as always here on the JP Peterson Show. All
right, quick break. We'll be right back with Sweet Lou.
Yes.
Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Hey, the Golden Diamond Source Memorial Day sale is on. You got a graduation coming up right now. You want to get a gift? What better way than to go to the Golden Diamond Source right now? Your destination for over 40 years, if you can dream it. They have it all under one roof. Folks, graduation gifts are very, very special. So get them something shiny, something that will last a lifetime. And that's the Golden Diamond Source. They have a tremendous selection there, great customer service. And of course, if you're selling or trading jewelry right now, you can get the highest trade-in value of the year for your diamonds. Upgrade today and use that money towards a graduation gift. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right. Sorry about that long delay here. Let's try again with the great Lou Maggio from the Sports Club of Tampa Bay. What's up, buddy? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not going to talk real estate. That's for damn sure. Get cut right off.
Yeah, the NSA cut you off.
Shows how much crap I know about real estate, isn't it? But all I know is we're having an amazing event tonight. This is the Sports Club of Tampa Bay. Is a 60-year-old club started by the Levy brothers, and those are the guys that brought the Buccaneers here.
That's
This
right.
is our 40th anniversary Hall of Fame induction. Now, this is interesting about real estate because there are so many people, I like that part, segue,
Yes.
that are have moved down, have no idea of the history of Tampa. And that's what we're trying to preserve. And it's going to be a great event, a great night. You know, we had a really good run through yesterday, JP.
Mhm.
JP, if folks that are coming, JP and I know a very secret, fun thing we're doing with Coach Steve Spurrier, who's getting inducted tonight.
That's right.
I think most folks have heard of him, haven't they?
They have indeed. Yeah. He'll be the
Oh.
old ball coach will be there tonight.
The old ball coach will be, I mean, I can't call him the old ball coach because I got to pick him up this afternoon. But anyway,
Oh, he likes that.
and I won't tell him you said that because you're an FSU guy.
Right.
But anyway, we have him coming in. We have Bruce Arians for the Bucks, Titus O'Neil, WWE, and just a great philanthropist here in town.
Yeah. Great dude.
Charlie Bradley, basically he's
Greatest
with the
player in
greatest of all
USF
greats
history.
USF basketball. And Bobby Diaz, who's like a legend as far as in softball here at Chamberlain. Erin Andrews, she will not be here to accept, but Gail Sarens will accept for her, and she sent us a video. So it's an amazing evening, and it's going to be helping out. We have a nice sized check that we're going to donate to the Boys and Girls Club of
Indeed.
Tampa Bay. So it's a good time. It's a good time, and you get to see JP all dressed up.
Unfortunately, it's sold out tonight, right?
It is sold out, which is this is the largest one ever.
Well, fortunately, I should say you can't go.
Well,
if you don't have the tickets.
it's we tried, but it's going to be it's over 500 people going to be there.
Wow.
And it's the largest one we've ever had at Higgins Hall. But we're very excited about it. You know, it's we're basically trying to preserve the history of Tampa sport.
Now you're muted again.
He said preserve the Tampa Bay sports, and then that's it. It's like
Can you unmute yourself? Yeah, can you unmute yourself? No.
Yeah, no.
All right,
All right, we'll have to talk to him again one of these
Yes.
days. Yes, let me go ahead and get out of that one right there. There we go.
Yeah.
So it happens, guys. It's live television here.
We've had a good run. We've had a really good run lately, but you got to be careful. If you move that thing, if you hit something, it goes, and then we're done.
Yeah.
All right, that's a full day, brother. We gave a little bonus content for everybody here today. So it's all right. You want to try? Let's see if Lou
Can
can
we
come
start
in.
to try it again?
You want to try it one more time?
Yeah, everybody keeps calling me about this event tonight. It knocks me off my phone. For God's
All right, well
sake.
let's wrap it up, and then
Let's wrap it up. It's going to be a great time tonight. We're excited to have everybody there. We're actually going to videotape the entire event, so we'll have it on our website eventually, which will be sportscluboftampabay.org. It's going to be a great time. JP, we appreciate you being such a big part of this.
I'm honored to do it, especially for the last few years. We've inducted so many great people, and those are just the people inducted tonight. Rondé Barber's going to be there. Many more special guests are going to be there. It's going to be celebs all over the place. It's just it's one of the few nights we get to gather as a local, Tampa Bay alumni of all sports, and kind of the royalty of sports will be there. Brian Ford's going to be there. Jason Light's going to be there tonight. A lot of the Bucks people are going to be there. So it's going to be a big night. So
and I know you and Gail Sarens are going to team up to help induct Aaron tonight.
That's
too.
right. Yeah, because Aaron worked with her. She was our intern for many years in the sports department, and then worked with the Lightning. So yeah, it's going to be great. And we'll have lots of highlights to bring you tomorrow on the show, and I'll tell you all about what's going on. So thank you for having me do it tonight. Honored and privileged, and we're going to knock it out of the park, partner.
We'll see you tonight at 4:30.
Yep, I'll see you at 4:30 Higgins Hall.
That's good. Take care, Bill. Bye-bye.
See you.
All right, good stuff there. And of course, Gail Sarens, the history of her. I mean, what's the history of what? calling the first woman
to ever call an NFL game. Absolutely, yeah.
Not bad, yeah.
She was a Jeopardy question.
Wow.
When you become a Jeopardy question, that's the ultimate ultimate measure of fame right there. Hall of Fame. All right. Anything we missed on this long portion that you wanted to get to there?
Just with the Pat McAfee comments, I think they were taken out of context.
White bitch. It's so funny. It's like all everybody heard was white bitch, and it's like, he was saying that in a complimentary fashion.
That's the problem with social media. That is the problem right there. People just and we're some of us are guilty of it, picking and prodding and editing and stuff like that, instead of just listening to the whole monologue, listening to the whole thought process of what he was trying to say. Instead of focusing on what it was all about, you focused on white bitch. And that's why everybody was like, oh my God, he can't say that. He can't say this. He can't say that. That's the problem. People just don't focus. They got the attention span of a gnat. It's the reason why social media and TikTok in general is so popular.
It's funny because, he is constantly at odds with what's being said now on ESPN everywhere. And
I love it.
It's just a matter. It's like a lot of people dude is trying so hard to get fired, because if he gets fired, he just goes back to making more money. And then he probably collects everything on his deal with ESPN, and they don't have his programming. So eventually they're going to have to get rid of him. He keep pushing the envelope like this because they hate everything that when he brings Aaron Rodgers on and dares to, in any way articulate an agenda that's not towing the leftist line of ESPN,
right?
Where they've just lost billions of dollars in viewers. But that's there. But it's fun to watch that whole dynamic go down. Him calling out the executives at ESPN, then that executive got fired. There's just such an internal strife going on right now that he has brought to the table. So it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch from the outside as they eat their own.
I love
it. Beautiful thing.
I love it.
All right, so we'll be back tomorrow post the Hall of Fame tonight. We got a great show for you tomorrow lined up, so we'll be here live from 10 to noon. Nick Geddes will be joining me as we preview the finals, which will be happening. And you got a show tonight, right, Peter?
Yeah, the Sports Web live at 9:00 tonight. We'll recap, of course, what the Rays do live. Sometimes we get some great reaction there.
Yeah.
Last week we had Jose Siri with the great catch and then the win. So we'll see about that. And then, of course, we'll do more Bucks and who knows, maybe some Jake Paul stuff there with the manager.
Yeah, great stuff.
Thank you.
All right, partner, great job. We'll see you all tomorrow.
All right.